Hi, welcome to this IGA TTC video. Today we are talking about teaching teens. My name is Laura Cabrera. Let's begin. So let's start thinking about this. What is adolescence? Well, adolescence describes the years between ages 13 and 19 and is considered the transitional stage from childhood to adulthood. Physical and psychological changes occur during adolescence. And now I want you to think about yourself. What physical and psychological changes did you go through when you were an adolescent? I want you to please pause the video and write down some ideas on a piece of paper. We're going to share this during our workshop. So, during our live session, we're going to be talking a lot about our physical changes. But in this video, we're going to focus more on the psychological changes that adolescents go through. And here we have a few key aspects. Adolescent maturation involves establishing personal beliefs, values, and life goals. Adolescents engage in self-evaluation, leading to heightened self-consciousness. This self-assessment fosters long-term goal setting and emotional social independence. Ultimately, this process contributes to the development of mature adulthood. So all of these aspects are going to be happening during these years, from 13 to 19, as we had mentioned. And we're going to focus on three main stages of the psychological development of the adolescent: the early adolescence, mid-adolescence, and late adolescence. So when you see this term, early adolescence, what comes to mind? Well, it refers to ages 11 to 13, and it focuses on forming a new self-image. Physiological changes prompt the need for utilizing logical thinking and rational judgment skills. When we talk about mid-adolescence, we are referring to ages 14 to 15, which are characterized by increased emotional and intellectual capacities. In this one, adolescents seek independence from parents and explore various ideas and relationships. This period involves a struggle between their personal values and those imposed by parents and other authority figures. Adolescents take greater control of their education and career paths. They start taking these decisions. And it's very important to consider that this stage reveals their growing self-dependence, sense of responsibility, and desire to contribute to society. Now, late adolescence refers to ages 16 onwards, which brings a more stable sense of identity and social integration. Adolescents should have a consistent view of the world and a balance between their aspirations and reality. Here, there is concern for others and altruistic behavior that replace earlier patterns of self-gratification. And by the end of late adolescence, individuals should have defined their role in society and set realistic life goals. Now, as you notice, these stages are very important and they all have their own set of characteristics. So, let's talk about our first theory by Jean Piaget. Remember that he talked about the cognitive development theory. And we're going to be focusing on two of the stages: concrete operational and formal operational. When we talk about Concrete operational, it's from 7 to 12 years old. And in his view, conservation entails children understanding that quantities remain constant despite changes in shape or size. Children become less egocentric, recognizing that others may have different perspectives. They develop deductive reasoning skills, perform simple operations with subjects, and apply logic to draw conclusions. Despite cognitive maturity in later life, abstract thinking remains challenging during this stage. Abstract concepts are understood concretely and literally. Unrealistic math problems may be misinterpreted due to this limitation. And when we talk about the formal operational, we're talking about 12 years onward. So, in the formal operational stage, adolescents acquire the ability to test hypotheses in a mature scientific manner. They can articulate their views on complex ethical matters and engage in abstract thinking. Abstract concepts such as freedom or liberty can be discussed without difficulty. So, as you see here, one of the main differences is that students here can think abstractly. Now, let's move on to the next theory by Erik Erikson. So, he talked about the stage of psychosocial development. And here we're going to focus on two main characteristics: the school age, industry versus inferiority, and adolescence, identity versus role confusion. So, when we talk about the school age, industry versus inferiority, we talk about stage 4, occurring during middle school. And this one focuses on mastering skills in math, reading, and writing. Children experience the conflict of industry versus inferiority during this stage. Mastery of skills leads to a sense of industry and positive achievement. Failure to meet expectations and constant criticism can result in feelings of inferiority. So here it is very important how we're going to provide feedback to our students, because if they feel like they are not meeting the expectations we give them, they will feel inferior to the rest. Now, in adolescence, identity versus role confusion, this is the fifth psychosocial stage, and this one is between 11 to 18 years old. It involves adolescents contemplating their futures and career choices, which is something that we talked about in the previous theory. They confront the conflict of identity versus role confusion during this period. They are discovering who they are. Formulating and satisfying plan for the future leads to a positive outcome, establishing a sense of identity. And adolescents without a developed sense of identity may experience role confusion, lacking direction and security about their future. This stage is very important because adolescents are actually discovering who they are. Erickson's theory demonstrates the importance of the educator's role in helping children establish their identity upon reaching adolescence. The child must master academic skills in order to feel positive about him or herself. In addition to monitoring skill mastery, the educator must cover the topic of career exploration and expose the adolescent to as many career choices as possible in order to help him successfully pursue a goal. In our context, we're going to try to expose them to as many different topics and contexts as possible, which is going to help them achieve their goals. Thank you for watching this video. If you got any questions, you can send me an email.